Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Let's just start with that. I'm pretty excited. It's been a really busy week here at Sketchbook School, as usual, and you all have been creating some amazing art. So let's get to talking about it. Greetings to everyone. I see some hellos coming in from Joyce and Robert and Sandra. We have Steph, who we're going to see some of her art here in a little bit. Tina, Sabine, we have John and Anne in Germany, actually. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. And it might be the end of your day, so and you as well, Colin, in Ireland. So cheers if you're having your end of the week beverage of choice. Great to see all of you. So this week at Sketchbook School, students that have been partaking in our urban sketching course are actually wrapping that course up. They were in their final week, and we actually have a webinar happening today. Sorry, I'm being blocked. Today after this broadcast. So at 12 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a webinar, a live Q&A on YouTube on our channel with Jason Das. So if you've been partaking in urban sketching, or you have questions, or you just want to hear from Jason, check it out. That's at noon, and there's a link to that on our YouTube page and in the SkoolYard under events. And I see Marion has dropped in. We have Francine. Marion, I'm going to show off some of your artwork, actually, right now. I wanted to share some homework assignments that people have been doing for urban sketching. And we have Joanna, too. Hey! And Andrew. But actually, Marion did this lovely sketch. So this week in urban sketching, students worked with Nina Johansson, and she's actually based in Sweden. And this is a lovely drawing that Marion did where she laid down a really beautiful, softly colored watercolor background, or maybe gouache, but looks like watercolor, and did a drawing over it. And I thought this was an awesome way to kind of jazz up an urban sketch. So Marion, that's lovely. Thanks for sharing. We've got Pete and Janice and Sophie also joining us, which is great. And another student that did a really interesting drawing for urban sketching. Kate actually did this drawing of a muralist who was working on painting a mural on site in Seattle, I believe it was. And I just love that she was able to kind of do this meta drawing of another artist who's creating a piece of art. So I love the colors that Kate used here, and I love the idea of drawing other artists at work. So it was really cool. So we've got Kimberly and Mal Gorzada, who I might have mispronounced your name, sorry. Thanks for tuning in. And I also want to talk about, and Marion said it's watercolor. So Marion's drawing, she did use watercolor. Thanks for clarifying, Marion. And another course that's kind of hot on our minds right now is obviously the Be an iPad Artist course. And I wanted to talk to you all about sort of how you think about digital art and digital drawing. So some students have sort of seen this course and thought, I'm not really interested in digital art or digital drawing. And one of the ideas that I love that some students have been discussing in the SkoolYard is that you can actually use the iPad or a digital tool to make something that looks more analog. And I wanted to share this drawing that Helen did, actually, that looks like it was done in color pencil. And I know Danny does this. We have a lot of other faculty artists like France Van Stone that love to draw digitally using kind of analog looking materials. So this was a great drawing from Helen, and I wanted to share it because I want everyone to maybe consider how to use digital tools, whether it's an iPad or another tablet, use digital tools to kind of make a new kind of art that looks a little more analog. So I thought that was really fun. Helen, thanks for sharing that. And I can't wait to see more art that you guys are going to create as part of the iPad course. So that course starts on September 16th. If you haven't signed up yet, it's on our website, so check it out at sketchbookschool.com. And another thing that I like to share in these bulletins is just some of the discussion questions that come up in our community. These can be sparked by classroom lessons, they can be sparked by just art that people are making. Excuse me. I wonder if Anka is watching because she was really good at capturing the frog in my throat on a past bulletin. Anyway, one of the questions that a student brought up in the SkoolYard was about being a self-taught artist. And I believe it was Louisa that was mentioning that she's a self-taught artist, and she kind of struggles with that sometimes, and the fact that she doesn't have a BFA, a fine arts degree, or an MFA, and doesn't have formal training. And I liked the discussion that this sparked because at Sketchbook School, we are all about being self-taught. Learning art on your own, and you're not in this formal classroom setting, but you're learning in maybe this virtual community like Sketchbook School. So check out in the SkoolYard, and I'll link to this in my written bulletin. There was a question about being self-taught and kind of how to reframe that. So we're always interested in hearing your feedback on stuff like that. And another question a student had about finding your style was kind of talking about how she loves all sorts of styles from different artists, and sometimes she feels like she can't just pick one, or that her style sort of references different artists at different times. And I liked this discussion question because it really made me think about how your style can evolve. And, we're all influenced by artists around us and the art that we like. But that doesn't mean that you have to stick with one thing and sort of make that your thing. So I appreciate that question came up. I believe it was Susan in the SkoolYard. And again, I'll link to that in my bulletin notes. And another question that came up from Kathy Brooks was about what to do with all these digital drawings that you might be accumulating. And so Kathy asked this, and we got lots of answers from students about how they use the art that they make on their iPad or on their tablets. And there are lots of different things that you can do with those images besides just tucking them in a little digital folder and then never seeing them again or never looking at them again. So there's a discussion in the SkoolYard about what to do with all your digital drawings, which I thought was really interesting. And when it comes to student projects, I want to talk about our mentorship program briefly. So for those of you that don't know, in the SkoolYard for Sketchbook School, we have a mentorship program. And our mentorship director is Alicia Satva, and she helps us coordinate matches and putting people together that want a little guidance in their creative journey. And I wanted to point out kind of the way that program works and also share an example. So Alicia actually asked a question in the SkoolYard, which you can find if you click on the mentorship topic, about how does mentorship work? And lots of mentors shared examples of how they engage with their proteges or the students that they're mentoring. And Steph, who's actually watching this bulletin right now, has been a protege and a mentor in this program. And I love what she did as a mentor. She actually took on a portrait project, just a drawing a face a day or drawing multiple faces, kind of like a personal challenge. And she shared this with her proteges and actually challenged them to do the same challenge with her. So it was kind of like a little team effort, but each person was doing their own drawings. And she thought it was a really cool way to A, hold herself accountable, but B, see sort of the different ways that her and her proteges approach these subjects. And so this is just an example from Steph's sketchbook of some faces that she worked on. But I love the idea that as a mentor, she sort of started a little mini challenge for herself and her proteges. And she mentioned that she even messages with them on Instagram to kind of keep in touch and check their progress. So if mentorship is something that interests you, if you want to volunteer and mentor someone, or you want to be a protege and learn from someone, check out the mentorship topic in the SkoolYard and ignore that train that you might hear near my house. Check out the mentorship topic and fill out the form to join us in that program. And I think that you'll have a blast, whether you are mentoring or being mentored. And as Steph said in the comments, that she had a lot of fun doing it as a group. So think about that if you're looking for a way to kind of push yourself creatively. That was an awesome idea. And another student in the SkoolYard talked about sort of making art in other mediums. So Yuti asked a question in the SkoolYard about if any other students make art in other formats. And I love when students share things like something they made in ceramics or a beautiful recipe for homemade bread that they crafted. And we love seeing you guys sharing other creative projects that you're engaged in. And I love that Yudi was asking this because a lot of students shared some really interesting answers. And looking in the comments, Steph just mentioned that she would do another challenge with other people if they're interested. So if you're interested in a small group challenge, maybe look up Steph Stokes in the SkoolYard and you can connect with her there. And then another student project that I thought was really fun, one of our students, Kat, actually in our beginning course, she learned from Roz about doing her sketches on little note cards. And I love this idea because sometimes, you have a sketchbook, I have one right next to me, and you feel really precious about the pages, and you're kind of intimidated by it. And I love that Kat was using this method to just feel a little looser with her drawings and a little more relaxed. And she did them on individual note cards, so they didn't feel so precious, and they were just easy to do quickly and to not worry about. So she did this sketch, some overlapping contour line drawings of her dog while he slept. And I thought this was really charming, and I think it's a fun way to sort of break out of a rut if you're, being too precious about your sketchbook pages and worried about making mistakes. So Kat did that in beginning with Roz, and I thought it was a great idea. So definitely look into that if you're looking to change things up in your sketchbook. And one more reminder, in the schoolyard we're doing a giveaway of a LePan book, an art book that he's created recently, and we're asking all of you to draw your big head portraits and share them with us in the schoolyard. So the deadline for the LePan artist book giveaway is actually this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, so that Monday we're going to announce a winner, 3 winners actually, that are going to take home a copy of the LePan artist book. This giveaway is only open to folks in the US right now, unfortunately, but if you check it out in the schoolyard under the giveaways topic, you can submit your drawing, and we would love to see your big head portrait. So definitely check that out. And I want to talk about meetups, because meetups are always something we love to promote and share and celebrate. And I wanted to share what's been going on at some of the meetups that Sketchbook School students are having. So this is a photo from our Princeton Sketchers group. So we see Steph there, who is like the woman of the hour for this bulletin. And we see Andrea and a bunch of other New Jersey Sketchers. So I love when you guys have meetups and you share photos of them, and we get to see all your smiling faces. And the reason I love this photo is because I remember when the Princeton Sketchers were just a couple people. I mean, it was 3 or 4 friends, getting together. And now this group is growing, and I think they had 14 at this meetup, which is awesome. We have some hellos from Margaret, which is great to see you, Margaret, and Linda. Thanks for joining. And another meetup idea that I loved is actually Andrea from the New Jersey meetup. She actually drew people sketching at the meetup. So whenever you're at a meetup, if you're having a hard time picking a subject, sometimes it's fun to just draw the people around you that are drawing. The good perk of that is that they're sitting still, which is really helpful if you're trying to work on your people sketching. And you guys often have these meetups at really cool places. So capturing the environment around you and the people you're sketching with is really fun. So thanks, Andrea, for sharing that. And we had another group meet up in Pasadena, and this was a small but mighty group. Barbara shared this photo, and I love seeing these faces, these familiar faces. We have Kathy, Joel, and John, and I love seeing them gathering together. And then Barbara is over there on the right side. It looks like they had some beautiful weather at Caltech when they were sketching in Pasadena. So thanks for sharing that photo, Barbara. We love seeing it. And a couple other meetups coming up on the western half of the country in the US right now. We've got one happening at the Portland Art Museum, organized by Linda, who's here. Actually, I saw her say hi in the comments. She'll be meeting up with students at the Portland Art Museum on the 25th of August. So check that out if you are in the Pacific Northwest and able to get to Portland. And then we have another meetup that Kate with the Seattle Urban Sketchers is hosting. She's actually hosting a drink and draw, which means they're going to gather and draw a costumed model, which will be so fun, on the 28th of August. So check that out at 7 p.m. Pacific with Kate and the Seattle Urban Sketchers. Whoops. Too much, it's not what you want to see. This bulletin ran a little long today. I feel like we just had so much to talk about. And once again, thank you all for joining and tuning in, and thanks for being a part of the schoolyard. The schoolyard's where I've been pulling all of this art and these discussions, and I love seeing what you all create and what you all inspire in each other and in us here at Sketchbook School. So thanks for joining, and if you're not in the schoolyard yet, sign up for a course at Sketchbook School and join us there. And if you have taken a course in the past, but you didn't receive an invitation, I just want to encourage you to check your junk mail, because sometimes those invites go to spam. And reach out to me at morgan@sketchbookschool.com if you've taken a course with us in the past, but you didn't get an invitation. So definitely check on that, and we hope to see you in the schoolyard. And I hope that you all have a wonderful Friday and an awesome weekend. So thanks so much. Thanks, Kimberly. Have a good one, everybody.